we have a little box of seeds that were donated, so after the meeting, take a look through these seeds, see if there's anything you wanna take with you. And while you do that, these also have been donated, and some folks have found them very, useful to start seeds in, because eventually that composts, and there's some little holes at the bottom, it's a handy way to reuse trash. We have some embroidered shirts, that are available to you if you want to display your garden club affiliation. Deb Reel is wearing one. You can, and the deal that we've made with Hill Country Embroidery, is that we provide our own shirt, or she does have some shirts to sell, and she does the embroidery.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that's a $15 cost for the embroidery, is
Right.
that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And there are business cards there that give her address and how to contact her if you're interested in that.
And just tell her Lake Hills Garden Club, and the setup fee has already been taken care of, so it's just the $15.
Okay. So today, we are very pleased to have with us Theresa Butler, who will tell us a little bit about herself before she begins talking about pollinator gardening with Hill Country natives. So,
I'm Theresa Butler from the Native Plant Society of Texas. I just moved to this part of Texas about 10 years ago. So originally from New Orleans and Houston. So I just started learning this stuff myself 10 years ago. And I want to recognize a couple of the people in this room, Brenda and Gary Fest. They're also in the Native Plant Society and Master Naturalist, and they, along with other members of our Native Plant Society, have taught me a lot of what I'm presenting to you. So thanks for coming. You all have probably know this area better than me, so bear with me. I want to recognize also my husband, Ken Butler, took a lot of the pictures that I use in the slides. And also a lot of the slides are adapted from our Native Plant Society of Texas. We have a landscape certification program. It's a really good one-day classes, 5 different classes. And our Bernie chapter tries to present them twice a year, spring and fall. And they're presented at the Cibolo Nature Center, and so highly recommend them. I have a few of these cards to pick up. If we get down to the last one, just start taking pictures of it because I don't have enough to give everybody one.
Do you have a date for the fall?
That information is all on our website.
Theresa, we're teaching 3 classes this fall.
This
And
fall,
level
wow.
1, 2, and 3. Level 1 is already full. They fill up about 5 days after we put them up. But we don't normally teach level 1 twice a year. We did this year just because we had a couple other people who agreed to help teach it with us. And we just did it because, quite honestly, not every chapter in the state does it, and it's so needed. Like I said, I mean, I get upset if people in our area don't know about it, and we'll have people from all over the state coming, which we'd really rather have them come from the local areas, because the way the state does it is that each chapter teaches, it's very much the same material, but it's tailored for your particular ecoregion. So the level 1 class has closed now, but it'll be reopened again in September. And if you go to the state website, kind of navigate through, because it continues like all of them do to change, but navigate through to education and just look for landscaping, you'll find it.
And it'll tell you the contact of each of the classes, and there is a prerequisite for level 1 before 2, 3, and 4. But there's also one that's just native landscaping for attracting birds that you can take independently.
So,
Yes.
are CE hours required after that certification?
No,
Like
You
in
get-
Master Gardener. and Master
You
Naturalist.
get CE hours for it. If you're a Master Naturalist or Master Gardener, you get credit for
You're
it.
certified, but you don't have to retain that certification.
No, once you take level one, you can take anything else, and then we'll just ask you to teach it.
Well,
So
and-
that's how we get all our instructors is, it's a great class, and I've taught it when I was really sick, and I could barely stand, I'm wobbling around, but by the end of the day, I'm happy with the class, because it's just really a wonderful experience. It's, like she said, it's all day. It includes a 2-hour walk around where you get to identify the plants that we're talking about in the classroom. It's just a really good class.
Well, like the Master Naturalist and the Master Gardener, they require the CE hours.
And this goes towards it.
This
No,
goes
but
towards it,
no,
but it
we-
doesn't-
no,
you
but
don't
once you,
require it,
okay,
yeah.
I hear you.
Cause I have both of those, and I
Right.
went through them, but I
Mhm.
hadn't retained the hours, cause I didn't have.
No,
time
this
to
is
teach.
just like for your own education,
Right.
but also, the people who are in the landscape industry take it and they can advertise that certification, but we don't require anything to keep it up.
So you said go to your website?
Go to the state native plant website, NPSOT. In fact, if you put NPSOT in the browser, it'll
It
take you
comes right
straight to the state website,
What is it again?
NPSOT, the Native Plant Society of Texas. Am I saying that
And in this presentation, I'm gonna be calling it NIPSOT because I get tired of saying Native Plant Society of Texas over and over. And I get tongue tied anyhow, so, okay, so, we'll go ahead and start. This is just a pretty picture of a red yucca plant with the hummingbird on it. Okay, so, I don't know why this keeps coming up. Okay, so the big question is, why do we want to plant a pollinator garden? Well, I think most people just want the pretty look. And that's very nice to have a very pretty look with our own native plants. But it's also very helpful because 75% of the flowering plants and 35% of our food crop production plants require animal pollination. And right now, those pollinators are under stress because of habitat loss. On my way here, driving here, I saw more beautiful landscapes ripped up to put in concrete roads, houses. We're losing all of that. We're having environmental contaminants. That's what we're doing to those poor pollinators, so they have disease and parasites. So your pollinator garden is, if we can get a lot of people just in their little plots to be pollinators, we take the pressure off of those pollinators. Now, let's see if I can do this right.
Go the other way.
There you go.
Alright, so we'll do a few definitions. Pollinators are birds and bats, but also insects. Everybody thinks of the pretty butterflies and moths, but if you're inviting the butterflies in, you're also inviting flies, beetles, wasps, and those are also pollinators. So you can't pull out your can of insecticide and start spraying after you've planted your pollinator garden. Indigenous or native plants are ones that were here originally and not moved around by people. For the North American continent, we consider it plants that were here before the Europeans came in and started bringing their plants from Europe and China and Africa and everywhere else. An endemic plant is one that's unique to this area, and our hill country has several of them. Two are pictured here, the twisted leaf yucca and the pretty blue-green lacy oak. Those are endemic plants. Okay, I go this way. The benefits of native plants in the landscape, they save water. Generally, our native plants are more drought tolerant than what you buy in the nurseries that are from other countries and continents. You reduce maintenance. The idea is that you're reducing your lawn, and so you're not mowing and blowing and edging and putting pesticides and herbicides on it. You'll still have to maintain your plants, but it's not the same type of maintenance, and it's more fun maintenance than maintaining the lawn. It improves air quality, because there's less pollution, first of all, from all those machines I just talked about. And the deep roots, especially of our native grasses, the grasses grow like switchgrass and Lindheimer muley, have roots that are as tall as the grass is. And those deep roots help our soil. They conduct water down to the soil. They hold more carbon. So, another good thing about native plants is they co-evolved with the wildlife. So they attract, the wildlife likes our native plants. They prefer them to the things that have come here from other countries, because over millions of years they've adapted to what our native plants provide. And so of course they host native insects. And then we get biodiversity of food sources from all of our different native plants. The pollinators need the same things we do: water, shelter, and food. So if you can provide a little water feature or shallow bird bath, that, you know, here's a chipping sparrow taking a bath in our little water feature. They want shallow water and slow dripping. You don't want a deep pool and big waterfalls. But the insects like the water too. Ken takes a lot of pictures of insects that you'll see on the slides too. Shelter, the oak tree is a great example of nice bushy shelter for, and camouflage for the pollinators. And then of course, they like to eat any fruit, seeds, pollen, nectar. So I have some guidelines first. The one that I think is the most important around here is deer protection, because we have too many deer. They are overprotected, and we need to exclude them from our pollinator gardens. High fence is best. If you can't do that, then the T-post with the welded wire fencing, you know, you just need to learn to love that. Brenda Best taught me that. You start to really appreciate the look of the fence when you see the pretty plants that can grow behind them. You want multiple, okay, I'm gonna talk about each of these in more detail later, but I'm spitting them out at you now. You wanna reduce your lawn, I already mentioned that. Multiple layers of vegetation, not just your big canopy and then your grass down here. There's a lot of stuff that likes to grow in the bushes and shrubs and flowers that grow in between up here and down there. And when I was driving on 1283, I saw a lot of properties that were just mowed grass and canopy, mostly oak. And that's not really the best thing for our environment. You want things with different bloom, fruit, and seed times. The aim is to provide, leave your grocery store open all year round. And you want different, you want larval host plants. Those are the things that the butterflies lay their eggs on, and then the caterpillars eat them, so you'll get some defoliation. You want a variety of flower types and colors. And when you're planting, it's good to cluster species together. It gives you a nice visual with a pop of color and the same type of flower together. It's also more efficient for the pollinators when they go grocery shopping. Because like if you go into HEB, you'd be pretty mad if you're going in for cereal and the Wheaties are on aisle 1 and the Cheerios are on aisle 3. You want all the types of food together that a pollinator likes. So if a certain type of bee likes this flower, it can go from one to the other quickly instead of having to go halfway across your yard to get to another bunch of that kind. I mean, you can do some separation, but the idea is try to group as much as possible. Avoid pesticides and herbicides. If you've heard that before, I'm going to say it again and again. Leave the fallen leaves and the dry stalks and the seed heads all the way through winter. That provides very good habitat habitat, and those seeds, you know, they glean the seeds all through the winter. And it also protects your plant. It gives it a little bit of insulation from the cold, so you're not chopping things off in November or December and leaving those chopped up plants exposed to the cold. So this slide talks about structural diversity. You don't want just your trees and your grass, you want everything in between. You want, so different vertical layers, different density of leaves, different feel of the leaves, like some leaves are waxy, some are more papery feeling. And evergreen plants and deciduous plants. Evergreen plants provide more shelter and food in the winter time. And it also brightens up your yard a little bit.
The canopy, is that the left, and then the mid-story is?
So, yeah, this one, this slide is more geared towards birds, and it's just telling that for the birds, they live above the canopy, vultures and hawks and swallows and swifts. And then in the top of the canopy, these are the type of birds that like to live there. And then in mid-story, like in smaller trees, you have warblers, jays, vireos, chickadees. And in the understory, you have mockingbirds, bluebirds, wrens, and doves. And then in the ground cover, you have, well, you don't need to worry about shorebirds here unless you have a little pond in your property, but you have sparrows. And the winter time, they have the chipping sparrows, and different sparrows come in, and you'll see them in your nice tall grasses. So this is geared towards birds, but it applies to insects, to different types of insects, like different variety, vertical layers. So you want your diversity for time of bloom, fruit, or seed. So when you're planting your garden, think about when they bloom. So you have some pretty color in your yard all year round, which is also nectar and pollen, food for the pollinators. And then when they berry. And so this is just an example. Agarita's an early bloomer in the spring, and then it has berries early in the spring, well, later in the spring, but it's still an early berry plant. Summertime is lantana and others. American beautyberry, they're getting their berries now. And in the winter time, yopon holly and possum holly, for example. Fall bloomers are important for the migrating monarchs and all pollinators. So things like frostweed and fall aster are nice to have in your yard. You want diversity in the flower types. So you have like composite flowers and tubular flowers. Composite flowers are composed of two different types of flowers. They have the petals are ray flowers, and then in the center you have the disc flowers, lots of little disc flowers. So that fall aster has actually a lot of flowers in it. And then the tubular, so there's daisies, we have lots of good daisies in our native plant bunch of flowers. And then we have sunflowers, common sunflower, Maximilian sunflower, fall asters, and Texas aster. So those are types of composite flowers. And then for tubular flowers, for the nectar eaters, you have salvias, penstemon, betony, and red yucca are all good tubular flowers that attract butterflies. We see them all the time. So you want diversity in flower color because different pollinators are attracted to different colors. Birds like red, the flies like yellow and white, bees like blue and purple, and then, butterflies like the hot colors, hot pink, purple, red. And, that diversity in color makes a nice garden for you to look at too. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about, different plants in each of the categories of canopy, mid-story, understory, and ground covering grasses. So, one of our most wonderful canopy trees is the live oak. And it is a host plant to many, many different butterflies and moths. And it's also a shelter for lots of small animals and lots of birds. And, so it's nice because it's semi-evergreen. We pretty much have leaves on it all year round. And so the flowers, you know, it flowers. It's a monoecious plant, so it's got male flowers and female flowers on the same tree. And so do y'all know what an oak flower looks like?
No.
Oh, yes, you do.
An acorn?
The catkins. The
It's all over
catkins
your
with
car
the,
in the spring.
yes,
Oh.
that's the male flowers. And they pollinate everything. They depend on wind, they pollinate your car, and your pool, and your furniture, and your patio furniture. So anyhow, oak trees depend on wind, but also there are a lot of insect pollinators and bird pollinators with oak trees. And then the female flowers stay on the stalk, right at the bottom of the leaf stalks or the end of branches. And if they get fertilized they have to be fertilized by pollen from a different oak tree. And that becomes the acorn. Now, I did read sometimes they are self-pollinated, but those self-pollinated acorns are not as healthy as the ones that are pollinated from other trees. And so woodpeckers and see this titmouse is eating this acorn right there. And of course they love the shelter and oak trees are wonderful. But even though, and then our live oaks are the escarpment or plateau oaks. And like I said, I came from New Orleans and Houston, and I came and saw these oak trees. And they told me they were live oaks, and I'm like, I don't think so. They're not like my live oaks. Because in New Orleans, you have the canopy spread for a block, and the trunks are huge. And so those are Quercus virginiana, and those are in southeast United States. Our trees are Quercus fusiformis, and this does not have a very big, area where it lives. It lives Oklahoma through central Texas and into Mexico, but not a whole lot of other places, if any. And so the plateau live oak is more drought tolerant and more cold tolerant than the southern live oak in the southeastern US. So it's not as big and spreading, and sometimes it has these weird shapes, but it's very hardy. And I wanted to point out that we have icons at the top. These are the slides that come from our native landscape certification class. We have these type of things for a whole lot of plants. And the one that's outlined in blue indicates the water use. So oaks, our plateau oaks need very little water, and they like partial sun or full sun. Although I think oaks are very wonderful, you don't want just your oaks and the grass. And so the next canopy tree I'm talking about is cedar elm, which is another classic hill country tree. And these sprout up volunteers all over our property, and when I find one, I put a fence around it, and a couple years, it's grown a couple feet. So they like, they like to self-plant.
You like to what? Plant?
Self-plant, I
Oh,
mean,
self.
they pick their place, you know.
Okay.
The ones that grow up where they planted themselves grow faster than the ones that we dig a hole in and plant. That is our experience on our property. So they have these flat round seeds that the birds eat, and it's another great shade tree. And this has a yellow fall color. And I should also mention, all of these slides indicate that they're either a larval host or they attract birds and butterflies. That's why I selected these plants for this pollinator garden talk. But pretty much all of our native plants are beneficial to our native wildlife. So I'm not going to sit here and say this is a larval host on each slide, but you can see that they are. Hackberry is a fast-growing tree. It's not very long-lived like the oak tree. It has a bad rap in the landscape industry because they call it a trash tree because it drops limbs. But, okay, it drops limbs. Don't plant it near your house or near your driveway, but find a place in your yard somewhere. These are very valuable trees for the wildlife. The berries are high in fat and provide so much nutrition for our wildlife. And of course, it's a larval host. So keep hackberry in mind. And this is another one that self-plants. Once you have one, you'll have more. A mid-story tree that I really like is the Anacacho orchid. It is not really an orchid. It's in the pea family, but the flowers look like an orchid, so somebody put that name on it. And I don't know why they named it Anacacho, do you know? Okay. But it is very fragrant, and you can see how pretty it is when it blooms out in the spring. And it's fruit and seeds for the animals. So I highly recommend this plant. Yes.
So I have some Anacacho orchids on my terraces. Those things, you turn around and they're self-planting everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I
they
haven't
are
had
just
that.
sprouting up
Oh.
everywhere.
Oh, well, good. Now, I did, my experience with this, and I did read in the native plant database, I need to talk to you all about that, but, they don't like north-facing where they get a lot of the cold wind in the winter. And I had one on the north side of the house that didn't do well, so I dug it up and planted it on the south side, and it's just thriving. So you have these little micro ecosystems in your property, so you have to be aware of that kind of stuff. Yes, we have a database. I'll talk about that later. We have a great database where you can get a lot more information about every plant. And that's on our nipsot.org website. Possum Haw Holly, I like this one because it's got the pop of red berries after all the leaves have fallen in the fall. And so you have this nice winter color. And the berries, the birds just love them. They gobble them up. And this is a small tree. And also, this is one of those, it's dioecious, where you have a male tree and a female tree separate. So the berries only show up on the female trees. Come on, baby,
Go to the left.
go to the left.
No, that's right, go to the left. There you go.
I just didn't get the right feel. All right, Texas redbud, it's another classic. There's also a Mexican redbud. I think that's okay to plant around here because we're getting drier and droutier like Mexico anyhow. But Texas redbud is our native, And it's another one that has the showy blooms in the spring on bare branches, so you get this interesting color. And, oh, there's also an eastern red bud, so you don't wanna get the eastern red bud because that one's not as drought tolerant. So we have a lot of good, mid-story trees, I think. And I didn't put a slide for each one, but Mexican plum is another one that's got the blooms before the leaves are completely out, and it's very fragrant, and very pretty. And it's got the plums that, start yellow and turn purple. Mexican buckeye has the pink blooms and fall yellow color. And, it's got interesting seeds. These seed pods have 3 lobes, and each, pod has 3 seeds in it. And these are easy to propagate from the seeds, I have found. You can open up those pods and, just scarify, put the seeds in a jar with some rocks and shake it up and then plant them and they grow. Texas persimmons are classic, and the fruit is edible. If you can get a food mill, you can process the fruit and make, instead of apple butter, persimmon butter is really good. And instead of banana bread, you can make persimmon bread. So our fruit gets eaten pretty quickly by birds and deer though, so you gotta get out there before they do. Okay, for understory, now we're going to shrubs, and agarita is a good one that's deer resistant, except that when the new leaves come out in the spring, they're soft and the deer eat those. And so if you really want your agarita to thrive, I suggest putting a fence around it again. Ours live out in the property where it's not protected from deer, and they're there, but they don't ever really get robust. But this is, it's an early bloomer, so it'll have food available early for the animals. American beautyberry is, it's one that's got more of an arching, open leaf design, and they're doing very well this year, the American beautyberry, and their bright purple berries are already out. Evergreen sumac, I like this shrub, and it can get to be a big shrub. In fact, in Big Bend, I saw it as a tree. But it is evergreen, and it's easily, you can prune it easily to keep it more tame. Mine has kind of gone wild, but I have a big space for it that I want to fill up. And it has flowers and berries, provides lots of food. Okay, lantana. I hesitated about putting this slide in because lantana is becoming more contentious because the landscape industry has flooded our area with non-natives and cultivars of non-natives. So there is a profusely blooming yellow gold variety that they call Texas Gold. It's not Texas, it's not from Texas, it's from China, and it's a cultivar. And so you have to be very careful about buying lantana these days. You have to check the Latin name with a knowledgeable person at your nursery. So you want Lantana urticoides, and the older name is Lantana orida. You can't just go by color anymore, because I saw a beautiful, the yellow and orange is the colors of the classic Texas lantana. But nowadays, they're selling a yellow and orange one that is actually the Lantana camera, which is the non-native. So be very careful about lantana, but if you get a Texas lantana, they're very good for the pollinators. Some more understory shrubs are autumn sage, Texas sage, Turk's cap, this one, white mist flower, shrubby foam, that smells really good. It's a great butterfly attractor, grows easily. And then our red yucca. And now we'll go to wildflowers. There's 3 types of wildflowers: perennial, like Indian blanket, annuals, the blue bonnet, and lemon bee balm are annuals. And then a standing cypress makes a beautiful display. It's tall, and you know, in the back, like a backdrop for your flowering plants, it's really nice, or against a fence. They grow the green part the first year, and then the second year they get the red blooming stalks. And so if you're going to use standing cypress, it's good to plant them from seeds 2 years in a row. So you'll have a blooming stand every year, and you don't have a fallow year. Well, come on, baby. Okay, Blackfoot daisy is a nice, it blooms spring through fall, and it's pretty, white flowers, attracts butterflies. Fall aster, I like fall aster. It makes a nice dense green display, and then in the fall it has the dazzling flowers, and that's a good composite flower. And yeah, you need to prune it in the spring to keep it compact, but it'll spread. You can, you know, if you have an area the size of this table, you can just plant a few and it'll fill in. A lot of these plants do
How
that.
tall does that get?
Well, mostly just under a foot,
Okay, thank
I
you.
would say. Do you think that's right, Gary?
Well, it depends on your soil and moisture conditions, but yeah, maybe a foot to 2 foot, that they don't get real big.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How does it propagate?
It does stolons. And seeds too, I assume. But yeah, it moves along. Zexmania this is a woody shrub. It's tough, doesn't need much water. It blooms a lot all through the summer. And of course, the birds eat the seeds, and it's a larval host plant, and this spreads easily too. Once you have one, it'll keep trying to grow other places. But the thing about these native plants, you know, is you can dig them up and put them in a pot and bring them to your plant exchange and share them with other people, donate them to native plant sale. I'll talk to you about that later too. So, yeah, I really like my Zexmania. Mealy blue sage does very well here, and you see it out in the wild. And this is a taller one, and it spreads by itself too. And this is a tubular plant, so it's a nectar plant. Big red sage. This is an endemic hill country plant. It was once thought to be extinct, but it was actually some of our NIPSOP members who found it at Cibolo Nature Center, right?
Yeah, close to there, yeah.
Yeah, and so, now, a lot of our NIPSOP members have this. I have it in my yard. It's at the butterfly garden, and it's evergreen. The rosette part stays evergreen, and then she puts up these tall, very bright red flower stalks. It's a hummingbird magnet. Okay, so more wildflowers. These are the type of wildflowers that if you don't mow, are probably already in your yard. Like frostweed is a great fall bloomer that's really great for the butterflies in the fall and other insects. This is a moth. Cowpen daisy. These grow out in your yard because they're deer resistant. So the cowpen daisy and prairie verbena. So if you have these on your property, encourage them, don't think they're weeds, just because it says frostweed, it's not a weed. And this is the one, you know, at the first frost, the stalk split and, makes these formations with the moisture that comes out of the stalk. It's very pretty. But the first time I saw it, I thought somebody had spread toilet paper all over our yard. But then you get closer and it's really neat formations that you can see. This is Baccharis, or Roosevelt weed. It's a native to a lot of the US. But the insects really do like it. It can be aggressive, so if you have it on your property, watch it. Don't let it take over an area. You wanna control it. Mexican hats grow everywhere, and the deer don't eat them. And then that's cowpen daisy. I put that again because I really like this spotted cucumber beetle. So yeah, you can see these are the kind of insects you're gonna start observing if you have a pollinator garden. It's not just butterflies. And then the birds, they like playing in the flowers too. And this one's goldfinches eating Maximilian sunflower and Texas thistle. A Texas thistle might be growing in your yard too, although I find that more often it's the musk thistle. So if you have the musk thistle, you want to try and pull it up or at least cut the blooms, because the musk thistle will take over an area of your property. Grasses and sedges. So cedar sedge is a nice little sedge that provides seeds. It likes shade. It's done, but you can see it's only 6 to 11 inches, so it's good for a low border in the shade. Woodland sea oats are very pretty, and these get tall, like 18 inches to 2 feet tall. And they have the bronzy seed heads. Now, in my daughter's yard, they're already turning bronze. I think they don't have enough water.
It's been pretty dry around here.
Yeah, they are drooping already. But the bronze seed heads look pretty all winter, I think. It's a very lacy, droopy look. And it fills up an area. Like if you have they have it under their big oak tree where there's a lot of shade. And I think it looks nice there. Lindheimer really is a wonderful plant. If you need a big screen, privacy screen, use this instead of pampas grass. Do not go anywhere near pampas grass. That is a very nasty plant that the landscapers sell. It's not native. It's got a big seed head. The seeds go everywhere, so it's invasive. And it's very hard to get rid of because it basically attacks you if you get anywhere close to it.
What is the name of it again?
Pampas grass. Yeah. Don't dye that. This is Lindheimer muley, which is our native, one of our tall grasses. And when the seed heads come in the fall, it gets 2 or 3 feet taller, and it's beautiful. This gray silver seed head. We have some really good ground covers. And so, frog fruit likes the sun, and it's got these pretty little butterflies and pretty little flowers that attract butterflies. They've got all these little bitty flowers around the center of a purple center. Interesting flower, I think. And it can get up to about 8 inches tall, and fill an area, but it's pretty when you see all these flowers on it. Straggler daisy is a good one for shady areas, and it tolerates mowing and foot traffic. And if people try to get rid of it in their lawn, they should be trying to get rid of the grass, not the straggler daisy. This is a very good plant. Those short turf grasses don't give anything to anybody except maybe grubs. Yes.
That's also called horse
Horse
herb,
herb.
right?
Yes.
Horse herb, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And it's got the little yellow flowers that attract the little bitty butterflies, like skippers and dainty sulfurs.
Ms. Butler,
Yes.
I just have a question about the frog fruit.
Uh-huh.
How easy is it to propagate to another area? I mean, has anybody tried to propagate it, to take it, move it?
Gary and Brenda.
Well, you can dig up, some of them and transplant it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to transplant.
I found it requires a little more water.
Yeah, okay.
We have better luck with the straggler daisy, although this time of year straggler daisy's not looking so good.
No.
Yeah.
But once it cools off again, I can't say enough nice things about straggler daisy. I love frog, and I've actually seen it growing in the water.
I love frog fruit.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get it to go to
But it
another
needs a
area.
little, yeah.
And you're
And,
having
um,
trouble with
and-
that?
Well, yes, but I think what I need to do is I just need to take a shallow shovel and just
Yep.
get it,
They kinda
Dirt
have
and
runners
all,
on them
yeah,
that you
they
can
have
take a
runners.
piece off, I think, and
and I think just
transplant.
move it like that, like you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're just gonna have to experiment, I think.
Yeah.
Just a side comment on that, I planted frog fruit back behind my house, and it's showing up in the drive area. I don't know how it's getting over there, 'cause that's a good, like,
Did you,
They're
Lynn,
butterflies.
did you start it
Butterflies
from
with birds.
seed, or did you
No,
start
I
it
bought
from
4
plants?
little plants,
Okay,
from Rainbow Garden.
okay, yeah, they do.
And now it just is everywhere
Yeah,
in the back.
I just love it.
Constantly having to prune it back.
Yes. Well, and we have it, we like to use these ground covers in our butterfly garden to just fill in the whole area, so the whole ground is covered. And instead of having this mulchy looking look, we have, a green and flowery looking look.
What is the second word for the horse?
Herb, Herb, I
Okay,
think.
herb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Thank you.
Yes, we're always having to pull some of the straggler daisy and frog fruit when they start growing on top of the plants, other plants, but they're good for filling in blank area. Pigeonberry is one of my favorites. It's a little taller, it can get up to about a foot high, and it, blooms and berries at the same time. And, right now I just have berries, but a couple weeks ago, when it was still kind of green from our July rains, the green was so bright and the pinks were so pretty and the reds were so pretty. It just made a very pretty display. I highly recommend it. And then, but this one goes back to dead in the winter, and you just have to cut it back to the, short, and then it pops out again. We have good vines like crossvine. This is evergreen. It's a prolific bloomer. You do have to watch it because it can grow fast.
Very bad.
The honeysuckles are very pretty, and I like them because they're also evergreen. They don't keep as many leaves in the winter, but there are green leaves on them all winter. And the flowers and the leaves are all both pretty. Virginia creeper is nice for the winter pop of red color. And then that's another one that you'd have to be careful about cutting back.
It showed up on the invasive list.
It's invasive in other states. And first of all, in definitions, a native plant is never invasive. It doesn't invade, it's aggressive, but it belongs here. The invasive ones are the ones that come from other countries. And so Virginia creeper, is considered, aggressive in Virginia. My sister who lives there complains about it. But here, you do have to be careful. We cut it off of a tree in the butterfly garden because it was just getting too bushy and shady. Avoid the pesticides. Let the insects flourish. I can't emphasize this enough. 96% of birds feed insects, caterpillars, spiders to their babies. So this is important baby food. And Ken's caught pictures of them doing just that, feeding their babies. this is not a good look. Learn to hate this.
Mm.
Because limit or eliminate the over manicuring. I don't know who came up with this idea, but it is horrible. Concrete never fed anything, okay? And I don't know what kind of grass they put here or how they maintain it.
It's probably that plastic
I was
grass.
just saying,
Probably
probably
the habit.
It's horrible. And
Heavier like
this
that
is,
and it's
this is a
plastic.
step up, but not much better. This is what I've been preaching against all morning. You don't want just a canopy and mowed grass.
I have complete rock, I mean, no dirt down under or anything, just complete white around my house, rock and ground.
Okay, do you have, you don't have any oak tree around?
I do, from other people's yards over over the property line. They want me to maintain the bushy part of it, and they get the front, but they don't know why it doesn't go their direction.
Well, I would fence off that area under the oak tree, and you'll get more oak trees coming up.
Okay,
And,
good.
we
Thank you.
had an oak motte, we have an oak motte that when we moved into the house, you know, nothing was fenced. And it was, you know, like maybe 6 trees and then rock. There's no soil, it's just rock. And we put a fence around that,
Okay,
and I don't know how the trees are growing up, but you saw it, Gary. We just have this dense,
The deer are
forest.
eating those trees. is what they're doing.
the deer will
They'll
eat
eat
those
babies,
new
yeah.
little babies, and you have no chance of
That's why you
growing
put the
more. But
fence
if you
around.
fence it in and you've got an oak tree, you'll get baby oaks growing through your rocks.
thank you.
Well, and I don't know that they just grow through the rocks too, but we've noticed because for years we've been collecting our leaves and putting it in an outside bin to let it decompose.
Uh-huh.
And it makes the wonderful soil.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe just over the years of the leaves falling
Well,
and
yeah, I
turning
mean,
into soil, it's making soil on top of it.
Yeah,
That is
because-
another important thing of leaving the leaves, because a lot of the insects winter over in those leaves
Mhm.
underneath your trees. If you take it all away, then they don't have a place to live, and so you don't get all the other
Well,
insects, the moths and bees.
Yeah,
and
if it
stuff
makes
like
you
that.
feel better, it takes us a long time before we get all the leaves picked up.
Don't do it.
It takes
Forget it.
forever.
Yeah,
But
but
it is
And
a
we
good
don't get
idea-
it all.
It
We
is a
don't
good
take
idea to
it.
leave them,
Yeah, we
because that leaves a little insulation layer where they get
Yeah.
down near the soil, and then they can survive the winters.
Yeah,
and make more soil for you.
And then they probably go back up in the tree, and they're bird food for the babies the next year.
okay, good to know.
Okay, and, include larval host plants. This is antelope horn milkweed and climbing milkweed. It's nice to have milkweeds if you can, but if you noticed on the slides, the plant slides that I had, almost everyone was a larval host for something. It's not just milkweeds.
Monarchs made milkweeds famous, so.
Yes, monarchs, yeah, and antelope horn milkweed is pretty cool, and so is Zyzodes and Texas milkweed. I found that Texas milkweed's easier to grow than antelope horn. At least, Marvin's got those plants.
Yeah.
Okay, practice benign neglect, this is what we were talking about, leave your leaves, leave your dead stalks. So some deadheading is good if you wanna encourage, more flowering, but by the end of the season, leave the flower heads to seed. And, like I said before, the dead stalks provide some kind of insulation for the plants over winter. Oh, and yeah, this shows that they're using the dead stalks for their nesting material. This was in Snowmageddon of 2021. And the chippings, there was nothing available in our yard. It was all covered with snow, except this is the stalks of Lindheimer muley, which we had not cut because we were being good about, and they were just gleaning whatever seeds they could get out of that, and I think it gave them a little insulation too. And then this one's eating plain as
Some of the native bees also will lay their eggs in some of these hollow stems of grasses and small plants. And so it's best to leave those until it warms up next spring before you cut things down. It doesn't hurt, you know, to mow things, but wait until, you know, it depends each year, I'd say late February, early March. Depends on the season, cause sometimes it's 100
Yes.
degrees in February and sometimes it's 32, but wait until it looks like it's gonna get spring and you think that the insects have come out of there, and then you can take your stuff in.
Okay, so we did talk a little bit about invasives. I put 3 here because I didn't wanna talk too long. And these are really bad, okay? And, ligustrum, and I have to confess, I have had all 3 of these in my yards in the past, okay? Ligustrum, these are all being sold in the landscape industry, and they shouldn't be. They're, ligustrum and vitex have taken over the creek sides of Cibolo Creek in downtown Bernie. That's where we're supposed to be having ball cypress and pecans and sycamores. And what do we have? Ligustrum from the Middle East and vitex from China, okay? It doesn't look like the hill country anymore. Nandina is another very bad guy. It's toxic. It has compounds that decompose into hydrogen cyanide, and it makes the birds sick. And in the winter time, when there's not many, if all you have is Nandina berries in your yard, they're gonna overload on those berries and then they die. Cedar waxwings have been known to die in great numbers from eating Nandina berries. Nandina's hard to get up in your yard. Actually, all 3 of these are hard to eliminate from your yard because they're so hardy. Because they came over from the Middle East and China, but they didn't bring their diseases and pests with them that kept them under control. And so, yeah, if you have Nandina in your yard, you'll dig it up once, you'll dig it up twice. We had 3 vitex trees that my Nipsot friends finally convinced us I did not want to cut down those trees because it does look pretty. You gotta learn to hate that look, okay? We finally cut them down, and we're still cutting down little vitex trees that are growing up. So people will say, I don't see them growing in my yard. Okay, part of it's because they mow and trim and landscape all the time. But if you don't mow and you have a vitex tree, you have more than one.
What's the difference between those and the Texas lilac? Cause they look the same.
It is the same.
They're
Oh, it
lying to you,
is.
lying to you.
That's
It's not
another
Texas at
one
all.
that they slapped the Texas name on it. It's not native. And it was also on the Texas A&M Superstar list.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we have finally convinced them to take that off.
The argument that bothers me the most, and I hear this a lot about the invasives, is that bees are covered by vitex. Okay, I won't argue with that, but the problem is if a plant hasn't evolved in the same ecosystem over millions of years, the whole the vitex trees are lovely and they do provide nectar, but they don't host anything else. That's it. So it's kind of like feeding your children Snickers for dinner. So yeah, they have that, and the adult pollinators will drink the nectar, but that tree will not give birth to or feed any babies. So and it's hard when you look at that, like
I
look out in
know.
the front of the library.
I had
That's
a
what we
hard
have.
time.
It's hard to convince people to remove that, but
Yes,
we
you
have the
all
same
have got,
parts
you've
of-
got a
Yeah,
couple
there's
out
some.
here.
Oh, no,
Yours
we
actually-
know, we have been taking.
And they don't,
We-
yours don't look too good, so this might
No,
be,
no, they
it'd
don't.
be a good time to, you know, you could
I know.
easily convince
I
somebody
know.
to chop
Well,
them
we
down.
have to talk to the board about that.
Yeah. Good luck, good luck.
Oleanders with the poisonous leaves.
Those are not good.
No, they aren't.
They're not native, and they tend to be a little bit aggressive, invasive, right?
Well,
Oleander.
they are survivors. You can cut them down and
Okay.
all that and they come back.
Okay, and there is a website called texasinvasives.org. And it's not just about plant invasives, so you have to go to the plant category, but they try to keep track of what things are, becoming invasive.
TexasInvasive.org.
Yes, so we recommend that site. So, these are the guidelines again. I think I might have hammered them into you all. Deer protection, reduced lawn, multiple layers, different bloom, fruit, seed time, larval host plants, variety of flowers and colors, cluster species together, avoid herbicides and pesticides. Now, we do get those crazy ant piles, and we'll put some of that andro on it. Sometimes you have to use pesticides, be very selective. And like herbicides, for the vitex trees, we'll cut the stem and then paint it with triclopyr or glove, but be very selective and careful about.
Don't try spraying glyphosate on anything, you'll kill everything in the wind.
Yeah, you don't wanna be spraying stuff.
The wind will take it out and you'll have plants all over the place dying from it.
Do you know of anything that's good to get rid of mosquitoes and not?
Get rid of the water, standing water is the only thing you do.
Yeah, if you have standing water, you can get those,
The dunks, they have the dunks that have bacteria in it that will kill them.
they're kind of, tablets that you can get at Home Depot or maybe African
They
Violet.
have them at True Value out here.
If you have a pond, put you in some mosquito fish, or even the goldfish will eat the larvae.
And you know what, I
Really?
also, read you can Google, plants that help, fight mosquitoes, and like there's mints and
Yeah.
strong smelling plants that you can plant or else put in pots on your patio, to help with
I
that.
did not know that.
There is
And
a
then there's
citronella.
also what is the candles?
Citronella.
Citronella, yeah.
But they
Yeah,
sell
but-
citronella.
Do not, but don't do a blanket spray. And those mosquito spray systems, oh, those are terrible, because you're killing all those beautiful beetles and flies. and
Also
such.
the chemicals for you and me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but back to the ants, because we have a huge ant problem. So just sprinkle Amdro on the ant mound?
That's the name of it, huh?
Yeah,
The
and-
powder.
Yeah, some
You don't
people
have to water
broadcast
it
that
in.
to kill all the ants, but that's not good, cause you're gonna kill the native ants too, which are really beneficial to go down and, aerate the soil and stuff like that. The fire ants is the only ones you wanna get, and you'll see their mound, put a tablespoon right on that mound, and they'll consume it in one day and they'll be gone.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
it's like bait that they take
Yeah,
back.
it's a
harvest
bait,
your
they take down,
ants.
feed the queen, she dies.
And you don't have to water it in so it doesn't spread.
No.
all
Okay.
As long as you're selective, cause we have about 6 harvester ant mounds, and
Yeah.
we name them Dallas and San Antonio, we have them
That's
all.
what we have.
But as long as you do, like Gary was saying, is you selectively place the scoop on top of the fire ant mound, they're the only one that's gonna get it, but broadcasting, so I think everybody is okay with using Amdro as long as you're selective and use it sparingly. It's pretty easy to recognize a fire ant bed, I mean.
Where do you get Andrew?
Home Depot.
True Value, I'm sure has it. Oh, yeah,
Home
yeah.
Depot.
But is the Medina orange oil, you can kill the mound with that Medina orange oil, is that better than using the Amdro?
I don't know the answer to that.
I've heard about it, but I don't really, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's supposed to kill them, I haven't used it much, but
I've used it and
it does do a good job.
Yeah.
And what was that again?
It's called, it's Medina brand orange oil, and so it's produced locally, but the, extension office has a video on YouTube about how to mix it up. You mix, I think this, like a quarter cup of it, or maybe 1/8 of a cup with a couple, tablespoons of dish detergent.
Yeah.
and, then you put it in a gallon of water. And when you find a fire ant's nest, then you start putting it in a spiral around, so it kind of traps them inside of a little circle. And it is just orange oil from orange
Yeah,
peel.
it's an orange product.
And so you keep going a little bit closer and a little bit closer until you get into the middle, and then you just dump it down the hole.
We use orange oil for, invasive species that, you know, are hard to get rid of, and we don't wanna spray
Yeah.
with other things, and we have a bang of that orange oil with I think we put Dawn with it. And then we spray that, and that actually gets rid of
They
those
don't
species.
come back out.
So they would
They
just,
don't come back
no,
out.
we pull it up and take it out. So I do know it works.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Also
I've
do
kind
something
of
to
gone
their nerves.
over time, I don't know if y'all wanna continue. This is straight from the nipsot.org, so I'm not gonna go through all these bullet points, this is the mechanics, and since you all are gardeners, you probably know it all.
No, no,
That's why we're here.
But, alright, so we do have this, Pollinator Garden Assistance and Recognition Program. It is done through, the Hill Country chapter of Texas Master Naturalist and 3 different, Hill Country chapters, and Bernie's one of the one that works with this. So, here is the link where you can request a consultation, and we have volunteers, and Gary, do you still do that? Gary? And other people in our NIPSOT chapter will come out and advise you about what you can do to establish your pollinator garden. And, they'll write a short report for you afterwards. They don't like do a design or, plant for you, but they help you get started on it. And if you feel like you're successful, you can get back in touch with this program and get a sign that indicates that your property is recognized as a Hill Country Pollinator Garden. And that can help you advertise to your neighbors and keep your HOA off your back.
Yeah, and sometimes in cities, people don't think that a native looking landscape is right, and,
Yeah.
put a sign up, or you put a little bit of fencing around it, and then people accept it and say, oh yeah, they're doing this on purpose, this isn't just that they're not mowing their grass every day.
Right. And then, you know, in winter time, it's not going to look so good. You'll have a few of your, you know, your possum holly and things that look good, but a lot of it's gonna be brown looking.
Do you know, like, how large of an area it needs to be? Is there like to be considered a pollinator
100
garden?
square feet, 10 by 10.
100 Okay, 100 square feet.
For our criteria.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we encourage people to plant natives anywhere
Well,
they
yeah,
can.
we're gonna study.
But for
And
this
what is the
program.
percentage, is it 70 to 80%?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be strictly natives, but, if you put an invasive in there, they won't be happy. Like, I had my Vitex tree. They weren't happy until I got rid of that thing.
We had to work on you a little bit.
Yes, I finally did it. Okay, so we have other resources, and like I said, I'm running out of time, and y'all might get
do
tired.
you have that written down already somewhere?
Do I have, this particular one, no, but
You,
this,
you sent me this presentation, right? And so I can share it with,
We will, we'll post it, we will post it if you will, can she send it to you, Krista?
I think that Denise actually has the ability,
Yes.
I hope
Yes,
if I
she
say
does,
this,
She does.
that she can link this with the YouTube video,
Right.
right?
well, let me send a new one, and
Okay.
remember that this is, a lot of this material comes straight from our native
Okay.
Plant Society of Texas, so
Okay.
I just want y'all to know that that's where it comes from, but I, updated this slide to include a couple more garden, nurseries, and then and we have demonstration gardens that our Bernie chapter does at the Bernie Visitor Center on Main Street, Main Plaza on Main Street, Veterans Plaza on Main Street, so pretty close to each other. You know, if you wanna go when the weather's cooler, you can park at the visitor center and walk to these. And Cibolo Nature Center has a butterfly garden enclosed in a tall fence that says butterfly garden. So, those are examples where you can go and see. So I talked about, one other thing I wanna talk about is the native plant database. Our NIPS.org, website has, I don't know if you can see it, a native plant database. And you can search for plants in there, and it will, let's search for American beautyberry. And it finds the plant, here, and it's coming. So it has a bunch of pictures, you know, you can scroll through the pictures. It has the map of where it occurs, it's still loading the map. It has, yeah, see, there's the map of where its habitat is.
Teresa, the map is really helpful. I got this heartleaf hibiscus, and I was nervous about planting it here because I heard that it wasn't very cold hardy. And it started blooming. I said, well, maybe we should figure out a way to keep it in a pot. I really, it's gorgeous. And so we went on the native database, and we put in heartleaf hibiscus, and up comes the map. And all around South Texas, I said, okay, that explains a lot. And it really was helpful for me to see, because there's some where we push the limit.
Yeah.
And like, there's some plants where I like them so much, I'll make an exception, but it explained to me why it's not, and no, it's not cold hardy, but I'll figure out a way to keep it because I like it so much.
Okay, so it has plant characteristics. It tells you how high, how wide, how much sun, how much water, whether it's deciduous or perennial, deciduous or evergreen, habitat care, and when it blooms, what the color is, maintenance, and then at the bottom it has propagation, so you can open that. So this database is really awesome. We've only created it in the last 2 or 3 years. It's really good, but and it's only Texas natives. Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center also has a database on their wildflower.org. It's natives all over the U.S. But, you know, every once in a while there's a plant that we don't have on our database that wildflower.org will have on theirs. I mentioned the Texas Master Naturalist program. It's very good for learning about everything: hydrology, plants, animals, soil, ecosystems all around Texas. And so nurseries are hard to find, even if it says it's a native plant nursery. Be careful. These last two, I think, are really pretty much exclusively natives. I have not been to them, but I think they're pretty good. Be careful about, and this one, last one, the Nectar Bar in San Antonio, only has a Facebook page. And they don't have regular hours, so you need to check the website or call.
They're closed right now.
They've
Yeah.
moved to a new location on Eckerd Road.
Yes, they have. I didn't put actual addresses. Y'all have to go find that. South Texas growers in Bulverde, those ladies know native plants, and if you ask them, they'll tell you the truth about them. She does have some natives. Most of them are not. And then native Texas and Kerrville, even though it says natives,
They
they
have
sell
other
other stuff too. What? They're still in business though.
Yeah.
South, excuse me for just a second, South Texas Growers, the board members here have heard me reference her before. My friend Joanne knows that. It's a great field trip. Bulverde is really, it's on the western side of Bulverde, it's really not that far from here. It's
Yeah.
before you get into like the 281 construction zone nightmare. It's on this side
Yeah,
Right.
of
before you get to
Bulverde, so
281.
really it's just past Bergheim. It's a great Saturday morning field trip, if y'all wanna head out there, and she's got some really good people that work for her as well.
Yeah.
What is the name of that again?
South
South
Texas
Texas
Growers.
The second one.
It's on 46.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's a couple of ladies that run the place.
Joanne and her husband Mike are the owners, and they do have some wonderful ladies that I've just known off and on over the years that work
Yeah.
there. They all seem to be very knowledgeable.
And they're helpful, like
They're very helpful.
I picked out a lantana that I thought was a Texas lantana because it had the red and yellow. And I asked specifically because of the problems with Texas lantana these days, and she told me it was not a native, so they tell the truth.
Yeah, they're good. It's worth a field trip, y'all, from here. It's really not that far.
Okay, so, we have a native plant sale coming, and that is the best place to buy native plants. All the plants are grown by our members, and, they look pretty good. I mean, here's a table showing you, and we have volunteers that work the sale, and Gary, manages all the volunteers, and they're very helpful, telling you, giving you suggestions and teaching you about a plant before you buy it. So, keep that in mind, and I think this is the end, yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, I have a few of these cards. The information's also on ipsot.org. If we get down to the last card and you still want to take a picture instead of taking it. These are Native American seed. I didn't mention that on that slide. Native American Seed in Junction is a great place to buy seeds. They also have a warehouse in New Braunfels. And I have a bunch of these catalogs because they have great pictures of flowers, and so you can see pictures of what you think you might want. Okay? So if you want to take one of the catalogs.
It does give you some ideas about how to seed too and stuff like that. It has some good information in it.
They have them online as well.
Yeah.
The catalogs.
So you can order the whole paper catalog.
Yeah.
Because their online website is, it's not as spiffy as some of them, but I order all my natives.
But if y'all were to order some for the club, they would send them to you.
Yes,
Cause they put one, they have a fall and a,
yeah, I do,
spring.
that's where I buy
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, but I'll go pick it up at the New Braunfels, location.
Okay, thank you all.
Teresa, what are the dates of the native plant sale? Is it one day only?
One day, it's Saturday, October 18th.
And where?
It's at Herb Farm, oh, sorry. So I will send, this updated copy
Okay.
of this.
Thank you.
It's October 18th from 9 to 1. And I will say this,
Herb Farm.
get there early, the best selection is early. I think half the plants are gone in an hour.
About 11 o'clock, it starts getting a little thin, so.
Well, we have, some native plants to give away, and then, also, if you're one of the lucky winners, we have, Common Butterflies of Texas is in 2 of them, and the other one is the Hummingbirds of North America. So, anyway, so we're gonna draw. How are you doing this draw? Just look at the last 3 numbers.
069. Gotta be somebody.
Yeah.
All right, 6 8 on
Get it out of my pocket.
That's close enough, isn't it?
There you go. I forgot, I got.
You know, there are other plant sales, other chapters also do. Kerrville does a plant sale.
All right.
San Antonio does a big plant sale. So if you go on nipsop.org, you can find plant sales and they'll give you the date.
Okay, I stirred these up. 068.
Let somebody else have it, that's unfair.
We'll draw it again.
Draw again.
We'll draw again, thank you.
071.
She's got 070. Not your lucky day.
Really, Lord knows.
We got
There
one
you
more.
go.
We got
Thank
one
you
more.
very
You
much.
might get it.
Oh, that is
Okay, and last one.
Made, so.
073. Yay, Oscar.
And that's the mother she's talking about.
Yes, yes, and, those slides that I have on plants, that's the type of.
And don't forget, we do have some seeds here, if you wanna, don't leave empty-handed. Like to
I have little bags for, we will have our seed box ready to go next time.
It has
We have,
a
red
plant kind
yucca,
for the house.